Hey guys, it's me the American, and today we have the Morakniv Garberg, the most ultimate full tang knife that Mora has to offer. The Mora Garberg features 4.3 inches of Swedish stainless steel, a polyamide handle that is close to unbreakable, is constructed with a full tang design, features a 90-degree spine edge, so that way it's compatible with just about any fire starter, and it weighs about 8.5 ounces total. The Mora Garberg is about 0.125 inches thick, or about 3.2 millimeters thick. Now the Morakniv Garberg box is pretty interesting. Here we have "Made in Sweden." On the side edge it says Morakniv Garberg. Garberg is a powerful full tang knife, and the Mora multi-mount lets you take it with you to perform the toughest tasks wherever you are. Well, hopefully it will survive the Fuglycool toughest tasks test. Manufactured at our factory in Mora, Sweden, it's the most robust knife ever made. 3.2mm thick blade, definitely high-grade Swedish stainless steel, treated to make it stronger and more durable. Blade has a special grind, or a Scandi grind, profile that makes it easy to sharp, and it is compatible with a fire starter on the spine. Now we have all the specs here, and down here we actually have the caution and warning signs. Do not put exclamation marks within triangles. This is a no-brainer right here. Don't make your fingers leak fluid. That is definitely a #1 advice right there. Oh, and this has like a baby trying to grab a shank or something. Definitely, guys and gals, do not give babies knives or sharp objects or shanks. That is definitely irresponsible, and you would be considered a very bad babysitter. Now, how sharp is the Garberg from the factory? The 14C28N blade, the stainless steel, has a 20-degree Scandi grind, which is more of a saber grind in reality. Now remember, safety first before cutting any type of paper object, because paper can be pretty sharp and could give you a paper cut of the eye. I'll be testing this out, cutting standard computer paper, and let's see how easily it slices it. It's extremely sharp. Perfect. Come on, chop chop. We got to make it to the Swedish factory where they make the Swedish fish. Meow. Look at that. It's just effortless. Definitely extremely sharp right out of the box. Now the Mora Garberg, it's a little short for my taste. I mean, the 4.3-inch blade is somewhat on the small side for me, but it's got a good feel to it. Definitely a hammer grip type of grip. I mean, this grip, it has no guard. I mean, so pretty much you're free to use any type of grip that you wish, especially if you put your thumb behind the blade for shaving tinder for the fire. I mean, excellent design for an outdoor type of survival situation. But I find that the best grip is the hammer grip so far in terms of just general overall handling. Now the polyamide is a little slick, and I kind of don't like that. I do wish that it had, in the center section right here that's outlined, I wish that it was actually the TPE rubberized grip that is on the other lower end Mora models. Now the Mora Garberg is definitely marketed as a outdoor survival knife. So let's go ahead and see how quickly it makes tinder for the fire. Now the blade is extremely sharp, so I'm pretty sure that it'll be pretty easy. Now remember, safety first, my friends. You don't want to get a shaving in the eye. Pushing motion. Oh yeah, it just shaves effortlessly. Definitely. I mean, it's so quick and so easy with this shaving motion that you can get quite a bit of tinder really quickly. You wouldn't even need to use a chopping motion because it's so sharp and it's so effective of a design that it's creating some really nice tinder chips. Now, the back of the blade has that 90-degree grind on it, so let's try that out for making some finer tinder to start a quicker fire. Wow, would you check that out right there? Awesome. So this knife has the ability to actually shave this tinder without using the sharp plate of the blade itself. So you can actually save your edge for other tasks. Now if you need to make tinder in an urban environment, we'll go ahead and demonstrate the tinder making capabilities with this 2x4 piece right here. And well, Mine Man, he's gonna give us a hand and we will show you how effortless it is. Easily splits off pieces, and the 90-degree back edge I mean, it's just so effortless. Don't you think so, Mine Man? Well, can this 90-degree edge actually be used as a fire starter? Let's go ahead and try it out. Safety first. You don't want magnesium shavings burning into your eyeballs at 5400 degrees. Definitely not. Safety first, my friends. Let's just try the sparks here. Let's make some sparks. Wow. Excellent. Definitely a really good feature in this blade. Well, with all the features on the Mora Garberg, it's definitely going to be a winner with survivalists. I mean, and it's an excellent design, but can it handle the stresses of the chopping test? Now, the chopping test is where I'm going to be using the sharp edge of the knife to chop into this 2x4 right here. It's a piece of yellow pine from our friends up north in Canada. Believe me, thank you Canadians. They're awesome for sending me this. We'll go ahead and check out to see how fast this little short and stout blade can chop through this 2x4 construction material. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Well, after that technical difficulty that we had on camera, I will suspect, and my opinion is that the Mora Garberg is not a very good chopper. Definitely. The blade is just a little bit too short for, you know, hardcore chopping abilities. Now, I did sustain some damage on my thumb. If you can see that right there, it's pretty bruised down there. And on top of that, I got cut a little bit while handling the Mora Garberg during the chopping test. Definitely. I'm always a big advocate of safety. Safety first. These gloves right here, definitely they've protected me many times. Every time you do, even a chopping test or any type of, you know, chopping or cutting use out of your knife, definitely use your PPE or personal protective equipment. Well, in phase 1, I give the Mora Garberg actually a really great A grade, definitely. It's really strong. Now, one of the cons that I didn't like was the chopping part of the test. I just felt like it just didn't have enough length or enough weight to effectively chop hard materials or thick materials. So let's go to move on to phase 2. Definitely, we're going to start off phase 2 with the edge retention test. I'll be striking this edge on the Mora Garberg onto this heavyweight concrete block. After the strike, I will notate where I struck on the blade, and I will cut into this line to see how difficult or how easy it is, you know, based on my own opinion, to chop this lime in half. Now remember, before anything that you do with a knife or a sharp object, safety first. Eyeglasses, and if you notice, I am going to be wearing my gloves. Definitely, these gloves have saved me tons of times. And before any type of chopping or striking or anything you have to do with a knife blade or a sharp object, definitely even a pair of lightweight gloves would definitely help lessen the blow on your fingers or on your hands. I hit right there. Wow. A very clean cut. It was a little jaggedy, but it was actually pretty effortless to cut that lime rind in half. Now, inspecting the blade edge right around here, the blade actually folded over and chipped in several places. Now, this is a hard stainless steel, but I did not expect the chips to be this big. That is quite concerning, and I hope that it'll survive the Mora Fuglycool test. Well, during the edge retention test, that 14C28N, it didn't really impress me too much. Now, the steel might actually be pretty good, but the heat treating is probably what caused the very fine edge to roll over and to chip as it did in the edge retention test. Now, onto the brick test. I'll be striking the spine of this knife onto a standard paver brick. Believe me, extremely stressful test. A lot of bad things can happen, but I test this stuff so you don't have to. Definitely a test of strength and of blade material. If the blade material is strong, it will hold together. If it is weak, it'll shatter into a couple of pieces or crack, or it'll stress enough to where it'll just shatter. So remember, as always, safety first, my friends. I have safety glasses, not eyeglasses, safety glasses. And I have really nice, thick, repelling gloves. Do not try this at home. Don't do it at home. You get seriously injured. The back of the edge looks pretty healthy, you know, on the spine here, on the back end. Well, let's go ahead and try some pommel strikes. It is a full tang blade, has this exposed piece of full tang here. Let's try that out. I'm real curious. Wow. I can definitely feel the power in that. Let's go back to the spine wax. Now I'm getting some really good chips from the brick. Big pieces are chipping off. And the material does not seem to have a crack or a stress in it whatsoever. Let's keep going. Alright, get some more pommel strikes in there. Come on, you got to hit it harder. Do it for Sweden. Meow. Do it for those little fish that taste so great. Meow. Burn some calories so we can eat moss with this fish. Well, it seems that the brick and the Morakniv Garberg are tied. Since the blade is so short, it would take me quite a long time to get through this. And I don't really want to rack my wrist anymore. Or, of course, expose me to a definite carpal tunnel syndrome here. But I will tell you that the material, after all of those strikes, has been holding up very well on the back end of the spine here. I mean, I don't see any type of damage on the spine. And on top of that, I don't feel any wibble wobble. Side to side, up and down. Feels like it's still in one piece. Well, the Morakniv Garberg is definitely strong enough to take on a standardized paver brick. So let's just go ahead and get that brick out of the way, and let's step it up a notch to the construction cinder block. Definitely really tough, really strong. believe me, another controversial test on my channel. I will be using the spine of the knife to destroy this cinder block. Also, we can go ahead and do some pommel strikes with the full Tang exposed portion of the knife itself. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Definitely get my super gloves on. And let's see if this cinder block is tougher to break down than an IKEA furniture set. I'm pretty sure it is a lot tougher than an IKEA furniture set. Wow, this Mora Garberg is really tough. It's actually putting a good sized dent into this block. There you go, got a little bit of a better angle there. All right. Now, let's go to unleash the Arnie power. Meow! Come on, you gotta break it. Time to terminate. Polyamide handle. It's taking a little while, but it's coming. It's almost there. Perfect. Look at that. Wow. The Mora Garberg got a lot of power for such of a stout blade. I'm actually starting to like it a little bit more than before. Perfect. Now the steel has held up very well on the spine. I mean, I don't see any type of chips or distortions on the spine itself. Now the 90-degree angle has been ground down a little bit. Doesn't feel as sharp as it did before. The polyamide handle got struck here and around this area, but it's a very tough type of plastic. It's really held together. Definitely, the Mora Garberg is tough enough to take on the brick and cinder block insurrection of 2145. Now the Mora Garberg is pretty short and stout, but it passed phase 2 with a great grade. I'd say it passed with about a B+. Didn't have the weight of most of the survival knives that I've tested, but it is definitely strong enough to stay in the game. We'll be now doing phase 3, metal on metal penetration. The tip of the Mora Garberg will be penetrating into this GI 50 cal ammo can. Very tough steel, definitely tough enough to haul ammo and supplies around the world for many militaries. Remember, definitely do not try this at home. Very dangerous test. Safety first, my friends. I'll be striking at the bottom center portion of this 50 cal ammo can with an ice pick type of grip. Wow. Wow. Excellent. Definitely a real nice penetrator. Even with that wide belly, right here, this belly At first it had a little bit of hesitation, but once you get the hang of it, I mean, believe me, the penetration power of the Garberg is actually really great. Now the tip, it's not as sharp as it used to be. It still does grab on my finger, but it is not needlepoint sharp as it was before. The blade itself did get a little bit duller. I can feel it. And you can see all the scrape marks created from the paint on this 50 cal GI can. The blade is still intact. Integrity looks great. And on top of that, I don't see any more chips or metal shavings that were formed during this process. It's actually a really tough steel. Now that Mora Garberg went straight through that 50 cal ammo can, no problem. Well, let's go ahead and go to the next test. We have the standing test. I'll be hammering the Mora Garberg into this 4x6 about an inch from the tip into this piece of lumber, and I'll be standing on it with all my weight. Now it'll test the molecules to see if they're all lined up, and if there's any fractures in the knife blade material itself, it will be very apparent, and the blade does have the capability of shattering or becoming destroyed. Now, all my knives that I've tested with this test have passed so far, so hopefully the Mora Garberg will pass as well. Now remember, definitely, before any type of knife activity, safety first, my friends. You don't want the knife to shatter or to hurt you. And definitely don't try this one at home. The Mayer is heavier than most, so I'm pretty sure this is a good gauge of the majority of the planet on the weight test. All right, we're right at an inch. It does bend quite a bit, but it seems to have flexed back into position. Let's get that out of there. Now the blade has separated from the polyamide handle just slightly. After hammering the Garberg into the 4x6 and standing on it, I've discovered this gap that is formed between the blade and the polyamide handle itself. Here, the gap is opened, and there it is closed. There it's open, and there it's closed. So that gap has formed after the stress that was put on it. Now, either the blade has broken inside of the handle, you know, and the full Tang may have broken in half, or it could be that the polyamide handle has just sustained a lot of stress, and it has just separated slightly from the blade itself. The blade might still be intact. If I move this blade up and down, I don't feel any type of disturbance, but if I move it side to side, I can definitely feel where it has come somewhat loose. Reminds me of the Gerber LMF. It definitely has that same feel to it, but I think it is ready to go to the final test. Now the blade wobble between the handle and the blade is a little concerning, but it's still pretty tight on the handle itself. The blade, it seems to have just been a very small separation, so I think we can go ahead and go on to the last and final test, which is the pull-up test. I'll be putting this blade up here, and I will be actually doing pull-ups on this knife. Now remember, extremely dangerous test. We'll go ahead and see if it will support the Mayer's weight. This blade is razor sharp, and believe me, do not try this at home. Do not try this at home, whatever you do. Safety first, my friends. I really need these for the test. Since the blade is very short, it makes it even more dangerous because there's less to grab onto. So if I slip, that blade is pretty much right on my palm. All right, here we go. Get to the Volvo. Come on. 1 pull-up, 2 U-turns, 3 right turn, 4 Volvos, and 5 Volvos. Meow. Alright guys and gals, well, there you have it. The Morakniv Garberg has passed the Fuglycool test with a solid B. There's a couple of things that I'd like to see changed on this knife. Like, hopefully they make one with a longer blade. I like blades at least over 5.5 inches. I think it's more well-rounded for survival type of situations. But the length is usable, definitely, in a survival situation. 4 inches is nothing to snuff at. Now, I will say that the handle to the blade design, the way it mates together, definitely, that is a big concern for me. The gap that it was formed is definitely a no-no in my book, but it held together for the test, so it did pass. Now, I wish that it had the TPE grip, like on the older Moras and the cheaper Moras. There is a type of rubberized TPE grip that feels great in the hands, and I think that it would actually add a definite plus to the Morakniv Garberg if it had this feature. The full Tang knife is really nice. The stainless held up really well. But I hope that in the future, Mora does make a larger version of this knife. It would be really awesome to test. Thanks to the designers at Mora, you guys did a great job. Now, I'd like to thank GunTap. GunTap.com, they sent me this knife to test, and on top of that, they were fortunate enough to give y'all guys a coupon code to use if you want to buy or purchase this knife. On GunTap.com, use the code MAYOR at checkout to get a 10% discount while supplies last. Definitely head on over there and buy the Garbergs up. This knife is really great and real solid for the price. Now remember, these tests are extremely dangerous. Do not try these at home. Whatever you do, just don't try them at home. I took some damage today, and definitely I don't want to see that happen to y'all. Remember, safety first, my friends, and don't try this stuff at home. I'm here, I'm the Mayor Fuglycool trained professional to make sure that y'all guys don't get hurt and you know what your blade is capable of. If you like this video, like it. Thumbs up. Say, Mayor, I love you to death. If you hated this video, say, oh, I hate your video, Mayor Fuglycool. You suck, you know, you stink or whatever. You're hurting my favorite brand of knife. Wah. Go ahead. Definitely. That'll help me improve on my videos. Now, if you really like or dislike my videos, I really recommend you guys to comment. Comment in the comment box below about what you think about the video. If you liked it, say something great. If you disliked it, say what I can improve. And definitely, I'm going to take everybody's comments, as long as it's not crazy or vulgar or you're calling me out or anything. As long as it's constructive, or it could be that I need to eliminate a portion of my test or add a portion to my test. Definitely, I'll hear y'all guys out. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. When you subscribe to Mayor Fuglycool, you get all the cool and crazy Mayor Fuglycool action directly to y'all guys. Definitely. As soon as my videos come out, it'll go right to your smartphone, right to your computer, right to your laptop. Anywhere you have a digital device, it'll go straight to that device. Now remember, I test this stuff right here, so you don't have to. That's the Mayor. Thanks for watching.